Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. This is Felix from Cara Borealis, and today we're going to talk about a concept I've been creating for the past 5 or 6 years. This concept was largely influenced by the teachings of Matthias del Stefano. He's someone that I saw on Gaia.com. He had a few documentaries. I forget what it's called, Initiation. It basically talks about the structure of reality and how it works. And a lot of what he said resonated with me, and I was able to create this concept that I call the 5 dimensions of consciousness. And I'm so excited to talk about it with you guys. But yeah, welcome. My name's Felix. We're here with Cara Borealis, and the goal here is to expand your consciousness, simplify your mind, and help you live your life with less stress and more joy. So basically, what these are, they're 5 dimensions of thought. They basically scale low to high. Most people are in the first and second dimensions of thought, while people who have taken the time to work on themselves and to become better at just being people in general, they're typically around 3, 4, 5. So, what are these dimensions? Let's go ahead and get into it. The first dimension we're going to talk about is the dimension of mind, where nothing exists other than the influence of the mind, the intuition, and the instinct, where you act on survival, you act on habits. It's like when you get too close to something hot and you pull your hand away out of instinct. In this dimension, there's generally no additional thought, just going with the flow. It's usually fueled by intuition, but your intuition here is typically guided by your level of consciousness or wherever you're at. So the first dimension, there's not too much to get into here in the first dimension. It's pretty simple. It's just the mind. We'll go ahead and get into the second one. The second one's kind of a lot. The second one we talked about in the previous video, the law of duality, stating that everything in life has a pole, which you have positive and negative on each side of the pole. You can have good, bad, hot, cold, light, dark, positive, negative. And as much as on one side of the pole, there will always be an equal amount on the other side. It may not be immediate, but it will always happen. The thing for this dimension is to try to be aware of what the poles are. And then the goal, I believe one of the goals of life itself is to find balance between these poles, find balance between all the poles in our life. And like I said, it's not going to be immediate. It's like the cycle of hot and cold. We have summer and we have winter. This cycle's once a year. Or even we have light and we have dark. This cycle's once a day when the sun goes down and when it comes back up. And then the second dimension of duality is just a stepping stone into the third. The third is Trinity. And the idea of Trinity is where we introduce our physical reality through the factors of light, sound, and form. Although these are three factors that exist, duality states there can only be two. So what happens here is that Trinity will lump form into either the positive or the negative depending on the situation. Because we live in a dual universe, that is the base of what we have to go to. Trinity has to follow that rule. And this results in either there being twice as much positivity or the negative also equaling positivity. I have a few examples, such as like you're training for a competition. The training itself can be pretty taxing and pretty fatiguing, and it's hard to go through most of the time. But at the same time, you're growing, you're getting stronger, you're becoming better at whatever you're training for. So while you're in the negative, it's also a positive. And then that's going to come around when you come out of the negative into just a positive result. Or we can look at schooling, like going to a 2, 4, 6, 8 year degree is pretty grueling, isn't it? When you're able to like push through the negativity, when you're able to invite it in within your being and you get to the end of it, you now have the experience and the knowledge that can help you create a comfy life for yourself. You can maybe get a good job. You can maybe start creating something for yourself with a better understanding of how everything works. This would mean leaning into the negativity only to come around and dump it into double positivity. Being able to think in the third dimension of Trinity means that not everything is positive or negative. Sometimes the negatives can be positive, and you should try to invite some negativity into your life to reflect some positivity. So don't be afraid of a little negativity. Embrace it instead as a part of life, let it in, and reap the rewards that you get from it. So the fourth dimension is a little different. The first few dimensions were about how our structure of reality works. The fourth dimension is called inward. This is the dimension of thought when you start to look within yourself to change the outside. When you realize that you actually don't have any control of anything on the outside, but what you do have control over is how it makes you feel, how you think, and how you act. And the fifth dimension we're going to look at here is the dimension of unconditional love. First, we have to understand here, what does unconditional mean? From my understanding, conditional means that there has to be a requirement to earn it. Unconditional means there's no requirement, there is just love. This means showing love for everything, showing love for every person, showing love for all things, taking actions that are based by love. When you're thinking of interacting with someone, you're thinking from a place of love. As love is our natural state, it's actually not as hard as we think it is. It's just the mind tends to get in the way. And again, it's not about being love drunk or in a state of euphoria. You can even tell people no and tell people to go buzz off. And it comes from a state of love. As long as you're coming from a state of love, you're in the fifth dimension. And just because the scale is low to high doesn't mean that the lower dimensions are less powerful or anything. They all have their own place. Intuition plays a large place in our lives for us to be able to know what to do without even thinking about it. Duality is really important so you can know what side of what pole you're sitting on. Trinity is important because we know that the negativity in life isn't always bad. Inwards is important to know because it shapes us into who we actually are when we start to learn about ourselves and take actions towards just being a better person. And unconditional love plays its part because that's just our default state. And I know you've said this once in your life, the world needs more love. So, touching back to the roles of duality and trinity, there's a few things that we can talk about here. Let's explain why someone can be doing really well in their life and suddenly go through a massive downswing. In the rules of trinity, if you're trying to hold on to too much positivity, you're trying to hold on to all the positivity, you're holding on to double positivity because of light and form, then at some point it's going to give. And through the law of rhythm, you're going to go back into the negativity. But you'll find your way through that and it'll come back around. It always cycles through positive and negative, but through the law of Trinity, it doesn't mean negative is bad. And here we're going to touch on the concept of karma. So, karma, from what I understand, is a collection of debts that we owe to the universe. It is shown to us in our lives by patterns that are repeating in people that we know, patterns that are repeating in the things that we do. The way to get over this is to notice them, become aware of them, accept them, and let them go. You're going to hear that a lot because letting go is a lot of what it takes to come into your own power. And then once you can let those go, once you start paying off your debt to the universe, you can start experiencing more positivity from the negativity you go through. So this was my concept on the 5 dimensions of thought. Understanding these can really help you understand the way we think and the way life can progress. When a lot of people are stuck in the first and second dimensions of mind and duality, they're just afraid to do anything because they're afraid of negativity. They only want to chase positivity, but they can't think for themselves because all there is the mind. This is 99% of people that you're ever going to meet too. I hate that that's actually the number. It makes me so sad, but to choose to be better is your own choice, and it's going to be the hardest thing you do in your whole entire life. So if you've made it this far, if you're actively interested in this stuff, you're doing so great for yourself, and I appreciate you. We all love you, and I hope you have a great journey. So, does any of this resonate with you? Do you see yourself falling under any of these dimensions? Let me know which one you usually gravitate towards. Most people are in the first and second dimension. So if you're on anything above, you're already doing pretty great for yourself. The only way forward is up. So thank you all for another video. My name is Felix. Channel here is Cara Borealis. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, all the fancy YouTube stuff. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.